doesn't make any sense to me that it's August already. Like, how is it that we're already past the middle of the year? And I feel like I just opened my eyes for the first time. Either way, I know that the beginning of the year felt like it was happening at a moderate pace, and then April and May I kind of blinked and that happened, and then summer was kind of like I took an inhale, and when I exhaled, hey, it's August now. Anyways, what I'm doing today is a little August setup in my journal. I've briefly talked about enjoying journaling in a previous video that I did back in, I think, June or July. No, it was back in June, of like my favorite things at the moment, and journaling was one of them. And I just kind of wanted to bring you along my little process of what I've been doing as of lately. This is, of course, my journal. I use it to write my thoughts, goals, plans, existential crises at age 22, normal journal things. And this is my August setup. I did a similar spread in July, but I really like the way August came out, if I'm being honest. And I might use this as a quote-unquote blueprint for months to come. Some of the key features that I have included are a calendar, which is new since July. I don't typically do a full calendar in my journals, but I've been doing them, and I like the way this particular calendar that you are watching right now turned out, because I think it's simple and small, and it's a calendar. Nothing crazy. Next is a weekly goal page, which we will get into, a monthly self-portrait, my month's favorites, which is also new since July, a hobby tracker, a little envelope for thoughts, also new, and a movie list / book list, which is new for August. Something about July that I liked was that I picked one color and I stuck with it, kind of just to keep everything cohesive. So for August, I decided to pick orange. It's literally just an orange mild liner highlighter. I have like a pack of many, and I picked the orange one because I feel like it's a good color for the precipice of fall and the end of summer. What I'm showing you now is a pen. I got a new fountain pen because I was gifted a fountain pen with this journal, but I have been trying to get that thing to work on and off for months, and I feel like at first I was like, maybe it's just user error. Maybe it's just me. But after getting this pen, I don't think it's me. I've heard great things about this pen, so I wanted to give it a try, and I'm trying it at the moment with this little stylized self-portrait of mine. And I can tell you that my previous pen, I don't think I was the problem. I think that pen just low-key sucks. But honestly, this pen is great. I do like the way it works, but I will say that I think it's not the greatest for this particular paper, which is fine. Maybe something a little thicker. And I do plan on sketching and trying to sketch with it in my sketchbook since that paper is thicker. And besides, look at its cute little face. It has such a cute little face. Anyways, so since February, I've been doing little self-portraits. For no real reason, I've just been doing them for fun as a way to kind of ground myself, because I'm always, especially as an artist, I'm always busy looking at other things and studying other things, that I felt like doing self-portraits could be like a fun way to kind of step back and look at myself like one of the things that I study. However, something about this turned into something else entirely, where I feel like I've been having so much fun. Pretty much like I have this idea of what I look like in my head. I can do thousands of studies literally just studying myself, and I thought it would be fun to try stylized versions of myself, especially because it's like one of those things, if you are a character artist or if you draw a lot of OCs, you can pretty much use those OCs as a way to practice. I understand the key features of myself, and I've been having fun pretty much creating different versions of myself. This in particular is just a small stylized portrait that I did quickly, mostly because I wanted to try this pen and I didn't want to dedicate an entire page for this month for a portrait. But in the previous months, which I have spoken about in my previous video of my favorite things at the moment, that video itself, I am doing like a self-portrait that I do end up putting in my journal, and at the end I do share some of the previous months self-portraits that I was working on. And this is just a little one, a tiny one on a smaller scale. But I've been having fun. I have one of myself as a mermaid because I thought that was fun for, I think, May, or maybe at the end of April. I don't remember when I did it, but I did myself as a mermaid, and I did myself in the style of Witch Hat Atelier, which was also very fun. And I have that video up on my channel if you want to give it a watch, where I'm just rambling for like 18 minutes about the things that I like. Anyways, let's move on. So the next page is going to be my weekly goals page. Completely forgot to mention this in the beginning, but I did, as you can see, sketch everything out previously just so that I had an idea of layout. I wasn't really sure how I was going to approach the inking process, but I ended up figuring that out on the way. I was inspired by the layout of the Hobonichi weeks and decided to do my own version in my journal. I was looking for a way to keep track of my goals on a more weekly basis, and although the Hobonichi page is daily, I altered it to suit me for what I need. The only reason why I know about the Hobonichi planner is because I've seen videos of people setting up their pages, or even if you go on Pinterest and you look up Hobonichi threads, people have shared a whole bunch, and I think it looks cool, and I like the idea of a planner, but at the same time, I like the freedom of just a blank journal. I think after I finish this journal, I'm going to get I forget what it's called, one of those dot journals. A bullet journal, dumbass. Oh my god. Anyways, I was thinking after I finish this journal, I was going to get myself a bullet journal. That way I have even more freedom to be able to do what I want. But I don't know. We'll see. If I find a regular line journal that catches my attention, then I will get that. Or maybe I will just get a sketchbook and go completely blank and just do what I want. But we'll see. Here as well, I also left a little space at the bottom so that I can write some thoughts at the end of the month as a form of reflection, which, like, this particular spread is kind of a mix of two of my previous spreads, one I did in June and one I did in July. Then the page next to that on the right is where I will track my hobbies and my favorite things for the month and that little envelope that I mentioned. So in terms of my hobbies, I've been doing this since February with many variations in between as a way to keep track of the things that I want to do. And it also keeps me motivated in a way to want to do the things that I want to do. This particular spread is the one I used in July, and I really liked the way it turned out in its simplicity that I decided to do it again, even though it's a little tedious. As you can see that I write down from 1 to the end of the month for each of the hobbies that I want to track, but it's okay. And if you don't get the vision, essentially each day represents a calendar date, and I go in with my little mild liner highlighter and I just dot the day that I completed one of my little hobbies, or that I did one of my little hobbies. That's all. Pretty simple, but I like it, and I'll probably do it again. I don't know, we'll see. I have many variations. I did one where each one was a strawberry. I did another one with grapes. I don't think that one turned out the greatest. And I did oranges, and then I did a more simple, like, table was my first one. But yeah. Then next to that is a blank space where I can put my favorite things for the month. And it's probably going to stay blank for a while until, like, maybe the end of the month. If something I keep either gravitating around or doing something or thinking about something or wanting something, then I know, okay, that's clearly my favorite thing of the month. So it's stuff like music, food, books, clothing, literally anything. Last month, for me, my favorites for July were Loath's new album, A Stranger to You. Listen to that shit. Rust, especially if you're into alternative metal, and just Loath is just amazing. Just listen to them. Anyways, a pair of Mary Jane heels I bought for myself, and I love styling. And crepes. I love a crepe. And then under those two is a little envelope where I can put any thoughts I feel like writing down, but don't want to dedicate a whole page to my journal. And I just thought the idea was cute, and I did it last month, and I was like, sure, I'll do it again. Then after that, we're getting into my final two spreads. I had to do those on a new day, hence the painted nails, where I am going to do a page for a movie watch list and a page for a book list. I am on somewhat of a quest to find my favorite movie. I don't consume movies the same way I consume books, even though I should, and that is what I'm kind of trying to do. So I've pretty much compiled a big old list and have decided to pick out a few movies between myself and my partner, because of course we're going to watch them together, and we picked out these four for this particular month. I tend to overestimate how much I can sometimes consume something, mainly books, so I feel like 4 is a good start for that. In terms of books, I've got a mix of short stories, poetry, novels, and manga. This still might be a little too ambitious for me, especially when recently my average for the amount of books I can read in a month is 1, but I want to try anyway. In my journal, this isn't the first reading list I have in here. This is the first movie list, but not the first reading list. My TBR is never ending and only ever growing, so I feel like shifting to a smaller list might help me meet my goals better, because nothing sucks more than having pretty much outlined a TBR for myself that I still haven't been able to complete. I feel like I don't know why, even though I'm pointing the fingers at myself. But yeah, it's okay. I've included manga because I've been getting into that lately, and I can typically read those in one sitting, so I think I'll be okay. Of this list, now that I'm doing the voiceover, I have already finished reading Revenge. I really enjoyed it. It's a horror short story collection, so if you are into that, definitely check it out. And I may or may not make a video in the future about short stories because I love them so much, and this collection will definitely be a part of that. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to broach on the topic of books, because I know I want to talk about books here, because I could talk about books literally all day, but I don't know who would be interested, so we'll see. All of these I am taping onto my journal with just like double-sided tape. It's nothing crazy. For the movies, I'm not putting these down in any particular order. Whenever we watch them is whenever we watch them. The books, however, that's a different story. I am putting them in the order that I do plan on reading them, with the exception of the manga. The manga is probably going to be in between reads, but like I mentioned before, I have finished Revenge. At the time that I was recording this, I was not. And then next, I do plan on reading The Odyssey, because of course I want to read it before I watch the movie. And then The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed. I have read a few of her other books, and I have this one sitting on my shelf and I want to read it. And then next is Wuthering Heights, which I have been meaning to read since February, but it's just been like back and forth of me not committing to it, which is crazy because I really enjoyed the beginning. And then in terms of manga, I made this really adorable, maybe it doesn't look that adorable, but I think it's adorable, this little folder that they can all sit in, because yeah, that's so freaking cute. What I have on my radar is the guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all, 2, Witch Hat Atelier 6, and Jujutsu Kaisen 6 and 7. But yeah, I remember when I made my little folder, I was just so happy that I made my little folder because it's so adorable. To me, it's so freaking adorable, and it fits perfectly, and it looks so cute. But anyways, yeah, there's nothing else much to it, and that's pretty much it. This is my journal for the month, which I will be filling in with my goals and my plans. And I love the way specifically my movie and book list turned out. I think that looks so cute, like I said before, and I hope you enjoyed. Anyways, bye.